Hey everybody, it's me, your friendly neighborhood, and I wanted to take some time out before the video starts and see how everybody's doing. I hope you guys are staying safe out there in these trying times of the coronavirus. Speaking of which, I actually just got my COVID-19 shot earlier this morning. I got the Pfizer shot. Apparently, the Johnson & Johnson shot was deemed extremely unsafe, so they decided to take that out of circulation. So I'm feeling fine. No real bad side effects other than my arm being sore from the shot, but that happens anytime you get a shot. So if you guys are teetering on whether or not to get the COVID-19 shot, I do highly suggest you get the shot, but only when you're ready for it. Because I was debating for a long time whether or not to give the COVID-19 shot when it actually first came out. And as more and more information came out, I became more open to the idea of getting the COVID-19 shot. But I still had cold feet about it because there was nobody I personally knew who had the COVID-19 shot. And I talked to a few family members who actually got the COVID-19 shot, and they're like, yeah, I feel fine. I still have to go back to the second dose, but I think that, yes, I do believe it would be a good idea to get the COVID-19 shot. If regular science doesn't convince you, at least listen to some rando on the internet who literally has no reason to lie to you, because I don't get paid by anybody, so I literally have no reason to lie to you about bullshit like this. But yeah, once again, if you are ready to get vaccinated for COVID-19, I do highly suggest you go through with that. And make sure you get the Pfizer shot. That's the one I have, and so far nothing has happened to me yet. So, anyway, on to the video. So I'm pretty sure you guys remember last year when I reacted to the Netflix Cuties trailer on stream. I was pretty disgusted with the trailer itself, but I was even more disgusted with the people actually defending this movie. Hell, the Rotten Tomatoes score was really all you need to go by the state of the movie critics and how untrustworthy they really are. I honestly can't trust anybody who says that this movie is good, or anybody who tries to push some narrative that the people who want this movie wiped off the face of the earth are right-wingers or racists or somehow sexist. Yeah, not liking a movie that looks like it belongs in Epstein's personal stash totally makes you a right-winger, and that totally matters. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm making this video, considering the discourse surrounding it has already died down and people have moved on. Yeah, that's kind of why I'm making this video. More so about the blue checkmark defenders that just got off scot-free, even though this movie has caused Netflix to be indicted by the state of Texas and has been removed. I refuse to allow the filthy bastards who gave this movie high praise, despite being fully aware what was in it. Now, the movie itself is, to put it lightly, and I'm going to be censoring myself to not get demonetized. That's probably going to happen anyway. Cheese pizza. No, I have not watched the movie, nor will I ever subject myself to the mental torture this movie has inflicted upon my fellow content creators that have suffered through the movie in order to give it their honest, real review. Obviously, the general consensus is that the movie should have been locked away in a vault behind the deepest pits of hell to never see the light of day. With the exception of one infamous interview. And there was some new information released about the behind the scenes that really boiled my blood. Apparently, the director of Cuties, whose name I refuse to even attempt to utter lest I have a stroke in the middle of doing so, or become so fired up angry that I also have a stroke in the middle of doing so. She had interviewed over 70 girls in order to play the roles of the main cast. They also did not hire any adult stand-ins for the movie's more provocative scenes. Yeah, you heard me correctly. They, and I can't stress this part enough, did not hire any adult stand-ins for the underage actresses, meaning all the scenes in the movie are solely done by the kids themselves. Let me just list off a few of the key things that happened, shall we? Multiple scenes of the girls twerking and dancing, the camera focusing on the girls' body parts. Oh dear God, I don't feel so good. One of the girls blow up a used condom. Just the thought of that makes me want to fucking puke. The main character tries to bribe her older cousin into giving her his phone with sex. Then when that doesn't work, she just steals it and locks herself in the bathroom and uses the phone to take a picture of her bits and then post it on the internet. All the while, her cousin is in the background pounding on the door. This specific scene was released on YouTube, and I actually saw it. And I have to thank God for giving me a strong stomach, because I felt like I was going to puke all over my laptop. The girls also try to bribe security to let them into a dance by twerking for them. A scene where one of the girls is wearing tight leather pants and they get forcibly pulled down, where the camera focuses on the shot of the 11-year-old girl's ass. And there was also a scene where one of the dancers actually lifts up her top to reveal her exposed chest. This is actually in the fucking movie. I've seen too many reviewers mention this one specific scene for me to doubt that it's not in there. You'd think that they would have thought to hire an actual adult who was close to the body type of the girl for that scene, but nope. Here's a prepubescent titty. I do not understand how people sit down, watch this movie, see what happens in it, and try to justify the content. I've seen people try to claim that it's actively against child exploitation, but the movie is doing a shitty job at it. It's like doing a public service assembly on how committing suicide is wrong and how you shouldn't do it, and then after the guy's done speaking, he pulls out a deagle and offs himself. Much like making a movie on why murdering is wrong, but you and your crew actively record yourselves graphically disemboweling people. It's so counterproductive. I would have thought that it would be unanimous that this movie would be sent to the Shadow Realm, but nope, the Blue Checkmark Retard Brigade decided to defend this movie with all their heart and soul. Let's take a look at some of the tweets from them, shall we? David Atkins says, Cuties is the new piss Christ. The latest thing that conservatives pretend to be outraged about to misdirect the attention of their base. I don't get what political argument has to do with a movie for kitty diddlers, but you're going on a list. I am Nishitha Gun. I don't know that name. Ms. Gabbard, have you watched #Cuties? Yes, the dance sequence is problematic. No, the film is not cheese pizza. The problematic sequence, to my mind, is there in the film as an indictment of hyper-oophilized world that we have imposed on our kids. Okay, I get where this sentiment is coming from. Like, we have TikTok where 14-year-olds are gyrating their hips to Wet Ass Pussy by Cardi B, but it still counts as cheese pizza. There's actual nudity from one of the child actors involved in one of the dance numbers. You're also going on a list. Laura Koloduni says, if you're criticizing the film Cuties without having seen it, you are engaging in willfully ignorant idle chatter that drowns out the perspectives and creative work of women and girls who made the film. Try this. Sit down, listen, and learn from these powerful new artists. Yeah, these powerful new artists that want us to see literal fucking 5th graders wiggle their hips and booties. Yeah, this empowered a lot of women, Laura. Empowered them to cancel their fucking Netflix subscription. Lila says, to watch that movie and watch that child's breakdown being so out of touch with what she's comfortable with doing, but so determined to fit in and think, ah yes, this is exploitation, is telling on yourself. No, Lila, but to watch a movie and see scene after scene of 11-year-old girls shaking their asses all over the place, may I remind you, in one scene displayed full nipples of one of said 11-year-olds, and still try to justify that by saying, this isn't exploitation, you're the exploiter, is really telling on yourself. You're going on the list. Adrene says Cuties is mostly about a little black girl trying to fit in even as her family tries to pray the devil away. It's one of those stories you see a lot. Remember when Nikki Reed's and Evan Rachel Wood's 13 came out in 2003? People were pissed about that too, but it's real. I love how they try to make race a factor in this. It's not. That type of manipulation makes me hate you more. There's a scene in the movie where they pray the twerking spirit out of her, only for her to start twerking in the middle of it. Yeah, twerking is not something a 13-year-old should be doing, much less know about it. And I'd argue and say that the movie 13 does a better job at conveying the dangers of trying to grow up too early than this travesty. You're also going on the list. Ashidaya says, reading about the right-wing right-wing outrage over cuties is infuriating. How QAnon conspiracy theories have become mainstream among the right is baffling to me. Okay, hang on, pause. What the hell is a QAnon? And this isn't a conspiracy theory. What people were saying about the movie is true. Like I said before, political alignment has nothing to do with wanting to get rid of a movie that actively goes against its own message by doing the very thing it's claiming to condemn. You're also going on the list, you aluminum cap wearing nutso. Xavier Pope says, the uproar from the right about cuties on Netflix is a straw man for legitimizing next normalizing QAnon. Their advocacy is never with clean hands. Okay, once again, what the fuck is a QAnon? English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
Yeah, you're definitely going on the list. Evan Shapiro says, #Cuties is not cheese pizza. It's commentary against sexualizing young girls. None of the angry ads this movie have seen it, nor what their own kids do on TikTok. This controversy has been seeded by QAnon conspiracists who want to create a new Pizzagate. What the hell is a Pizzagate? That's a new one. Once again, this is, at its worst, softcore. You can't make something that actually goes against your message and then claim that it's about the whole time. That's not how it works. You're going on the list, you fucking bastard. Nadia Latiff says, Cuties is a dope film about the horrors of being a preteen, beautifully acted and shot, with surprisingly flourishes of magical realism. It's all about the ways that girls are forced too soon into being women, and the dangerous void created when no one is there to guide them. Yeah, beautifully acted and shot. Oh yeah, those close-ups of literal child's no-no squares were so beautifully shot. To the fucking list you go. Alyssa Rosenberg says, I am so deeply disturbed by the charges this movie is cheese pizza-gree, when it is, among other things, an argument about the effect of near exploitation on young girls. It is cheese pizza. Send her to the list. Jack Moore says, Cuties is aggressively against the sexualization of minors. It's literally what the movie is about. Saying it's pro kitty diddler is like saying Inglourious Bastards is pro-Nazi. Why are you comparing Inglourious Bastards to this heaping pile of bullshit? You honestly look like a kitty diddler. You're going on the list. Jeff Yang says, and yet we should also ask why feminist filmmakers of color are being held accountable for ways in which disgusting people miswatch their work? Is advising them to be careful with shot choices not like telling women to cover up in public if they avoid being harassed? Okay, no. You are not about to run this argument. If you unironically use skin color of a filmmaker as a shield as to why they should not be criticized, you're racist. Also, not to mention, because women should cover... And also not to mention sexist because the women should cover up to avoid getting harassed argument bears no fucking parallels to this movie is so disgustingly shit, only a kitty diddler would enjoy it. Both arguments are... oh, dear God, this is giving me AIDS. Get that bullshit out of my face. You're going on the list, you sexist prick. Lindsay C. Holmes says, don't be bullied, Netflix. Cuties was a supercharged, appropriate, and well-done movie. I thank you for your boldness, even though you are probably prepared for what you would receive. Kudos to you. # Black Stories Matter. I really don't want my race tied to anything to do with this garbage heap of a film. Yeah, it's so bold, the film, and underage girls. Naked titties. Kudos to you, Netflix, for platforming literal fucking cheese pizza. Pay no mind to having quite literally the FBI on your ass for platforming this disgusting crap. You're going on the list. Anna says, so, a film by a black woman that takes aim at the objectification of children in mass media is at the center of a moral panic that has led to Ted Cruz demanding a DOJ investigation for cheese pizza. It's the 80s all over again. People, please think you got played. Okay, what the fuck is with these white people coming in saying, oh, you don't like this movie just because the director happens to be black? Get that racist bullshit out of my face. I do not give two flying fucks that this director is dark-skinned. As a matter of fact, it calls to attention how much you really care, because we all know if this director was a white man, they'd be all over him like white on rice. There would be no question of this movie even being directed at all. He would have been tossed in jail he would have been tossed in prison. No fucking question at all. This movie wouldn't even been made if the director was a white man. So don't come in here saying, oh, you only dislike this movie because the director is black. No, I do not dislike this movie because the director is black. Given the fact that I'm a black man myself, I dislike this movie because it sexualizes kids. Get that through your thick ass skulls, you white ass saviors. You people disgust me. Elizabeth Spears says the Cuties outrage on the right is the perfect Venn diagram overlap of what is something we can be performatively be racist about, and QAnon-induced exploitative panic. Oh, playing the racism and retarded QAnon argument. Onto the list you fucking go. Here, and I had to save the best for last. Movie Bob Production says they're still trying to make Cuties as a exploitative film a real thing, even though it's been like viewable for free for weeks, and everyone who matters has either seen it or heard a review and knows what it actually was, and that they were lying. The idiot public is unreal. If it was free for weeks, yeah, that's not good. This should be locked in a basement. And no, they were actually trying to warn us about this movie, Bob. And you legitimately look like the type of person that consumes copious amounts of shit like this, except the version you watch is way more explicit. Your ass is definitely going on the list. Now, notice that everyone I talked about was a verified account on Twitter. Literally 99.9% of unverified accounts rightfully tore everyone defending this film a new one. And shit like this is disgusting to see. Quite honestly, I'd rather watch lolly porn, because at least there are no children involved, and that's all fiction. Cuties has actual living, breathing, flesh and blood children in it, and people were trying to say that lolly porn was somehow worse. Get the fuck out of my face. I may hate lolly porn, but I recognize that there are no real people involved in when it's made and the consumption of it. If I were to watch Cuties, I'd feel like Chris Hansen would walk into my room at any second and ask me to take a seat. Now, it's one thing to get paid to say something good about this movie, and not having seen it at all, at least you can feign ignorance because you didn't actually watch the movie. You were just told what to say. But to actually watch the movie, see what happens in the movie, and still defend it to the hills, is just, no. Everyone who defended this movie needs to not be allowed to get off scot-free for promoting softcore cheese pizza material. Just no. They have a lot to answer for. Hashtag Cuties Defenders Crusade. Let's get that shit trending. I'll probably join in once my Twitter gets unrestricted at the end of this week. If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment down below what your favorite part of the video was. Don't be afraid to subscribe if you're new, and if you're financially stable enough for it, feel free to donate to help me get a gaming computer so I can finally stream VR chat in The Walking Dead without getting hit with copious lag spikes. Thank you, and I will see you guys in the next one. Fuck off.